So nearly 10 months ago, we reviewed the Fanatec CSL P1 steering wheel, and ever since then, we've been fielding your questions of when the rest of the more entry-level Fanatec CSL line would be arriving. And up until now, we had no idea. But finally, Fanatec has broken the silence and have officially announced the CSL Elite wheelbase and CSL Elite pedals, and we're going to unbox them and do a little first look at them today.
Sim racing chassis provided by Next Level Racing. You check them out at nextlevelracing.com.
Okay, so no messing around here. We are getting straight to looking at the products. Put the GoPro on. I feel like the GoPro is the best way to show off a new product to you guys. You can see a lot more details from my point of view, so that's what we're doing. So first up are the pedals, and this is the CSL Elite Pedals LC, because this has the load cell brake pedals. So how this works, if the pedals come in two different versions. You have just the CSL pedals that eliminate the load cell brake pedal that I already have installed here, and you just get a gas, and actually the clutch over here is your brake. So that's how that comes in the base unit, and it sells for a very low price, $79.95 here in the US. And pretty amazing considering this is a full aluminum set of pedals, and it's beefy. I mean, I was kind of surprised when I first opened it up. I assumed it was going to be a lot more plastic, especially it's supposed to be more of entry level pedals, and pleasantly surprised, you know, aluminum. These uprights are aluminum, which is pretty amazing because you see here there's a lot of lightening / stiffening going on here. You know, this is pretty integrate work going on here, and yeah, all aluminum. So that's very cool. So let's go and let's talk about these pedals. So like I said, got the gas right here, and that you can see how it comes back. That's not too shabby. That's pretty similar, I would say, to the standard Club Sport. Of course, CSL stands for Club Sport Light, so that's the differentiation there. But no, that's pretty good spring back, which is what you want on a gas pedal. That's why I never liked the low cell on the CSP V3s, because it's like, it didn't make any sense. You want that to spring back on you. So we got that. And let's go over to the clutch now, since this is actually the brake on the standard pedals. And you know, this has some resistance. I mean, this isn't too shabby for a brake pedal. Let me turn around here so you can kind of see what the backside looks like. But yeah, you can see the gears turning down there, and then the spring and the tension, and you can see they have like a tension rod right over here. So yeah, no, that's not too bad. We'll see what that feels like once it's underfoot, and if that's enough pressure. But I mean, I have to say, for $80 US, that's pretty impressive right off the bat right there. So, and then lastly, we have the load cell edition. So if you buy just the standard CSL pedals, it's like I said, it's like $79.95, and then this by itself, just the pedal, is actually $129.95. And then if you get it, then you can get it all as one unit, like you see here, like how I got it from Fanatec, and this is $199.95 US. So yeah, not too shabby on pricing. But yes, the cost here on this unit, the LC unit, is the load cell. And oh, and by the way, just doing the math there, if you buy them separately, then you spend $10 more. So you save $10 buying it all as a 3-pedal set. But yeah, so here, look on the back side, here's the load cell in use. And what you got going here, you can see the foam that they have in here, which is pretty similar looking to the foam that comes standard on the CSP V3s. And then what you also have here, you have these rubber stops or grommets, I guess you can say, that is also part of the load cell. And they're saying 90 kilograms of pressure on this load cell, which that is a fair amount. And as you see, as I compress here, you can see all of these start to flex a little bit. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention earlier, both these pedals, the gas and in this case clutch, are 12-bit resolution. This is 16. To some degree, I think once you get above 10-bit of resolution, anything kind of north of that kind of becomes a little overkill. I have a tough time feeling the difference. The difference between 8 and 10-bit, you can definitely feel. Resolution is just the quality of when you compress the pedal, how well it registers on the software. So if you have 8-bit, it has large steps, and so it's not as accurate. Where when you're on something like, well, 12-bit, that essentially 12-bit, I believe, is like 2 to the 12th power. It's the power rule. So it's a lot. So once you increase those powers, it becomes a lot more accurate. So as you press with a 12-bit, that's a very smooth, linear, and you don't really have the steps that you have with a lower bit rate. So 12 on both of these is very good, and 16 is ridiculous. But you know, more is better. And I assume, I didn't see this anywhere, but I assume that you get this resolution whether you're plugging it straight USB into the PC or if you're plugging this into one of the Fanatec wheel bases. Which, speaking of that, let's flip this guy over, and here you can see the connections going on here. So here's the box, and since you can change out this unit here and you can move these units, more on that in a second, these can all come out. So they all have connections for clutch, brake, gas, RJ12 connection if I get it back in there. Here's your RJ12 connection to the wheelbase, and then over here is the USB connection on this side, and then there's also a handbrake connection. No shifter connection, unlike the CSP V3s, but I did see on the CSL wheelbase there is a connection for the shifter, and maybe we'll hook that up later when we do some driving. So let's see what else is going on here. So you have hard mount points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So plenty of places to hard mount. You'll need a bolt on the top side. This isn't boltless, which is fine. That never bothered me on the other Fanatec pedals. Got some rubber grips, a fair amount of rubber grips. Even have an extra one here on the load cell brake, so that should do the job. And you see a lot more lightning. Part of the reason why I thought this was plastic, because this, even though it's aluminum like the let's just say the standard Club Sport models, this is lighter. They've done a really nice job of keeping it metallic and aluminum, but not being too heavy. So pretty impressed with that. So let's talk about these pedal units. As you might notice here, that they can be moved, and obviously, well, that's the case with adding this load cell. So these different points here give you the ability to go and move the pedals side to side to adjust them how you like. And then on the back side, they have this bar here to make sure you don't get any flexing side to side. And they have these spacers. Now, these spacers are 2 centimeters in length, which is about 3/4 of an inch. And so you get that much adjustment side to side. There is no adjustment when you look at the pedal faces themselves. The pedal faces are locked in here. This is all one piece, so you can't. So, you know, most pedals out in the market, you used to be able to offset them, but there's no offsetting here. But I don't think that's a problem. I actually kind of like this a lot. Oh, by the way, let me go, and there is a rubber piece here that covers up these connection points. So let me pull that off. And there you go. Now you can see where they attach on the front side here, and you can move this left, right, of center, you know, whatever you want, your heart's desire, which I think is very cool. So I really like running my brake pedal over to the left. I normally mount pedals in my rig as far left as possible, because it tends, pretty much the case of universal, all pedals and rigs out there. If you mount it in the middle, what happens is your right leg is pretty straight on the gas. What happens a lot, and since most of us, I would say these days, are left foot brakers, at least I mean, I'll do some right foot braking if I'm driving an H pattern, but for the most part, flappy paddles using my left leg for braking. What happens is your leg kind of comes in at this angle, and that can be kind of tweaky on your knee. Let's say my knuckle is my knee, and that can be kind of tweaky. So I always go and I move the pedal face over, and I try to straighten out my leg. Well, this now, you know, if I say, you know, forget about the clutch, I mean, hell, maybe I even remove the clutch, but maybe I go and I pull out a couple of these spacers, and I can move this over another 4 centimeters or about a ½ inch over, and I can be right here, and I can really just straighten out my leg, and then, you know, that'll feel a lot better on my knee in a long race, and also when you're going with a little bit harder of a load cell and stops, which I'll get to that in a second. But first, all I want to do is one thing that's a little deceiving on these pedals that kind of make it, I think, look a little cheap from, you know, the first look, is they have these rubber covers over the pedals, and yeah, I mean, they just don't, you know, they don't look the greatest, but they slip on and off, and they come off pretty easily, and they expose these nice aluminum faces, which I like quite a bit. I think they look pretty good, and I kind of think this might be the way I'm going to be running these pedals. So you have these aluminum faces, and yeah, I think maybe when I start driving, maybe I'll run it in socks and in my racing shoes and kind of see how that feels. But they do come off there, and I think it looks a bit sportier when you do that. Before we jump over to the wheel, one last thing. I want to go into this bag of goodies that I got from Fanatec. So I didn't unbox this because the pedals didn't show up in the finished box. I guess talking to Julian from Fanatec, and by the way, shout out to Fanatec for sending this over. Thanks, guys. They said that this is still, like, the wheel is pretty much production ready. The pedal sets aren't production ready yet. And speaking of which, the CSL line is scheduled to ship in October, but I looked on the US website, and the pedals were listed for sometime in early November. So I don't know what the discrepancy is there between October and November. Maybe that's for just the US side in general. Maybe they've had some pre-orders. But you know, we're sitting here end of August, and they're looking early November to get your hands on these, at least in the US. So these aren't finalized yet, and he even talked about maybe later on sending me the final version of these pedals, because it's still kind of work in progress. I think they're still working on some paint deals when it comes to getting into these pedals. Little difficult spots to paint for production. So anyway, with that said, I just got this in a box, not anything fancy, and I got this bag of stuff. Looking through here, USB cable, RJ12, which I'm happy to get one of these because I lost my RJ12 for my regular Club Sport set, and I spent a lot of time trying to find these at the store, and you pretty much can't find them at the store these days. You got to go online. And then got some tools here. Let me pull these out. So it also came out with a bunch of these rubber stops for the load cell pedal. And let me turn this around here. And as you see, let's see, I have one that has markings of 95 on it. I have another one that has a marking of 85. And this one is, oh, I don't know what that one is. 45. So I assume those are Durometer ratings. A durometer is a tool that comes in and pretty much presses something and gives a rating of how stiff it is, you know, how stiff the modulus of the material is. And so I don't know what's in here currently. I'm not sure if this is the 45s. As you see, when I pull down, it does kind of balloon out, and there is flux happening there. This 45 right here, this feels like rubber. I mean, this is very rubbery. I can feel this. This is very elastic. I go up to this 85. It becomes a lot more plasticky. Actually, if I'm being technical, this is more elastic. This is more viscoelastic material. But anyway, so yeah, so this I have a hard time pressing it all. So that'll be interesting. I'm not going to do it today in this first look, but probably the review, change these out and see what it's like. Also going to see, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure if you have to have 5 in here or if maybe you can add a 6, or maybe you can take one away. This whole unit acts as the load cell, so I'm not fully sure yet, so I'll have to find that out. I will say I kind of like how this base just kind of sits in here design-wise, and that's toolless. That's one thing that the selling point of this. They say this is toolless, even though it does come with a wrench over here, and you probably, well, I guess you don't have to take this apart. Well, no, you're gonna have to change these out. So anyway, but and then lastly, there is a 95, and that is again a little bit more plasticky. So that will be fascinating to try out and see how that changes. And then one last thing in this little goodie bags. And I'm not sure if you I'm not sure if you guys buy this in production, you're gonna get these type of tools. These are some nice wrenches. Thanks, Fanatec. I can use those. I need to get a toolbox. But so let's flip this around. And the last thing is they also send you these pads. Oh, missing one. Grip tape to place on your pedals, and that does give it. There's a pro and con to grip tape. It gives it a pretty pro look. These are like regular racing pedals have grip tape, and it looks pretty sweet, and I mean it is grippy. The drawback is, and we noticed this when we reviewed the DSD pedals, this grip tape usually flakes off really bad. I mean, you can kind of see there. You can kind of see the marks that my fingernail left there. So that can really rub off and make a mess down here, and pretty soon you don't have any more grip on it. You're just putting your foot on tape, and then by the time you've got your foot pressing on it, you try to move this stuff, it doesn't always remove the best from these pedal faces. So yeah, that's an option. I don't know if it's one I'll be doing. I kind of think just going bare might be the way that I go for these, and then maybe I'll try it with some socks, and probably with socks these rubber pads will probably be good. That could be, especially on the brake pedal. Brake pedal is going to be the one that's going to really hurt. So yeah, so that is the pedals and the pseudo unboxing, since it didn't come in a box, and we'll see this next one driving. But let's go over and grab the CSL wheelbase. Okay, so now it's time to unbox the CSL Elite wheelbase, and unlike the pedals, the wheelbase sounds like it's pretty much done. This is production version, and it's going to be very much ready to go for shipping, even though I'm pretty sure this has the same October release date as the pedals. So one thing I want to say, I know Fanatec ran a big competition in this box and doing their usual playing their word game here, so I hope Fanatec has announced the winners, or announced the winner, because I'm going to ruin it right here. So let's go. So let's find out. Straights are for fast cars. Turns are for fast drivers. I do like that. Good job for that one. Those are always entertaining. So, a little startup guide here, and stuff package. So let's see what breaks out here. Probably none of this. So I'm going to flip it over on the side here and try my best not to break anything. Okay, so let's see what fell out here. Here, the power, wow. Okay, so it's like a European power connector, I believe, or a hookup for washer and dryer. So we got that. Let's see, what do we got here? So more power, looks like more traditional. Well, what do we got here? More different power. There's a gasket that's for the quick release. USB in there. So okay, well, hopefully there's a US power connection in there. What do we got here? Here is the power brick, which weighs about like a brick. So pretty substantial power brick. That's not a little guy. So let's see. Here is the table clamp. You can hard mount this wheel, but if you decide not to, you can do that. And then let's get to the actual wheelbase. Okay, so let's move that out of the way. Let's move this out of the way. Foam, 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 box off the table. Okay. So, unlike the CSW, this doesn't come in a nice, fancy little Fanatec bag. But again, this is entry level. You're only paying $300 for this wheelbase. So that's about half the price. So let's see, construction-wise, this is plastic construction, plastic casing. This is, let's see, plastic casing. Here's some vent on the back side. You can see into, this is a brushless servo motor that has between 90 and 180 degrees of rotation. I don't remember the bit resolution off the top of my head. I'll have to add that back in later. Let's see. So connection-wise, on the I/O panel here, you have two for shifters, a RJ12 connection for pedals, handbrake, and there's USB and power. And then the bottom side here, let's see. So it looks like, well, here's where the clamp goes, and you kind of got these little feet here to give it, looks like to give it some angle. So that's fascinating. I kind of wonder, I kind of get the feeling looking at this, I'll probably be popping these guys off, and it looks like I can with an Allen wrench. So I got that, and then, oh, and here they are. And then these are the 3 hard mount points, which I wonder, these hard mount points look similar to past Fanatec, the CSW, but this is a new guy, so, but if I pick up these two, that should be more than plenty to make sure that this doesn't go anywhere. So, yeah, interesting. And then on the front here, it has kind of this this plastic, digital, almost kind of a pixelated type design here, which isn't too shabby looking. I mean, it's not a bad looking base. On the side here, you kind of got some texture. This is actually very similar to the Xbox One, in terms of the grading. I wonder if that was an inspiration. Which, by the way, this Xbox One and PC compatible only. No more PlayStation compatibility with Fanatec, or as those guys fight it out, and you can pick which side you want to blame, Sony or Fanatec. But no PlayStation for this, and it won't be upgradable in the future. So yes, $300 PC or Xbox One. But yeah, anyway, design-wise, it's not bad. I mean, it's not nearly as sexy as the CSW V2 base, but I mean, $300, it kind of falls in line with what you see out there on the market from like Thrustmaster or Logitech. On the front here, you have mounting holes, so if you want to kind of put some kind of dash or something else on here, you still have those mounting points. So that's nice. You have a rev light. We have a rev light in the P1 rim, but you got another one there. Here's the Quick Connect, which can accept the CSL P1 rim or any of the Fanatec rims, and it can also accept the universal hubs for the CSW, like the Xbox One universal hub. That fits on here too, and I'll probably put that on to check that out. Power button, mode button. Pretty standard feeling buttons. They're not quite the quality of the CSW, but again, this is more of a consumer grade than a higher end product. So yeah, I believe that's pretty much all the details of this base here. They say performance-wise, it's supposed to slot somewhere between the CSW V1 and V2. I haven't tried the V1, but I definitely have plenty of experience with the V2, so I'm fascinated to see that. But if that's the case, that's a fair amount of performance for only $300, so let's go find out. Okay, back now and have the wheel and the pedals installed, and ran into a bit of a snag, literally. So when I was mounting the wheelbase here, I did have to go and pull off those little stops I talked about, the Allen wrench, pop those off. Those are for when you use a clamp. But so it's hard mounting this, and it has the same bolt pattern as past Fanatec, so it picked up right nicely in the whole pattern on the next level rig here, so that was no problem. But I went and I tightened the left side first, and then I went and tightened the right, and I was still getting, it wasn't quite tight, so it was kind of riding up in the back. And so I wanted to loosen up and try to fix that. And I went to loosen this left one, and it wasn't coming loose easily. It was feeling like maybe it got cross-thread, which it didn't feel like that when I tightened it earlier, so I was kind of surprising me. So I tried my best to carefully loosen it, even with it cross-threading, and eventually that didn't work. And I believe, if you can hear that, I'll get a little closer here, I pulled out the female insert that's bonded to the plastic on the inside of the wheel. So right now, I have a bolt in there that I can neither tighten or get out because that insert is broke free of the rest of the wheel, casing, chassis, whatever you like to say. So that's a new one for me. I have to admit, I've never had that happen. I mean, it's not the easiest, normally mounting wheels and getting up from the bottom, and there has been times where it's kind of hard when you're upside down to get it to thread nicely, and I've had times where it's like, oh, nope, that's cross-threading, just back it out and get it to thread nicely, and I've never had this on any brand wheels. So this is a first, and probably have to put some blame on me, because, I guess I should have felt it, but I didn't really feel it. But yeah, this is a first, so I kind of wonder if maybe that needs to be reinforced a little more, because, I like to say when you make products, you have to idiot-proof it. Well, idiot right here, me, I broke that. So I have one bolt tight, and if I could, I'd take this out and I put the clamp system on. But I can't get this out right now, and I'm going to have to think about this more, and I think it's going to involve probably drilling it out. So this isn't on super tight. You see there's some play here. So I've turned down the force feedback, and we're going to go from there. But the pedals, they mounted great. No problems there. So let's go ahead and let's just get to driving and get whatever impressions I can. The pedals, I can give impressions on. The wheel, I'll do the best I can, but definitely going to kind of come up with a plan B here for the review, and it's just going to be what it is for this first look. So let's drive. Okay, here we are at the Nürburgring in Assetto Corsa on the Xbox One, and I'm driving the Lamborghini in the GT3 car, and picked this combo because I want to get a track with some hard braking to really test out this brake pedal a little bit more, this load cell brake pedal. And then got Assetto Corsa on the Xbox One going because you can actually buy this whole package from Fanatec, where you go and you can buy the pedals, the CSL wheelbase, the CSL P1 rim here, and then you get Assetto Corsa tossed in for essentially free for a price of, I think it's $640 US dollars. So that's the package. So I decided, well, let's go ahead and drive this combo in case anyone's looking to purchase that. And when we get on the review, we'll definitely be driving the wheel on the PC. But for the first look, just going to stick to this car and track combo on the Xbox One. So let's talk about setup. So when I first, before I ended up installing the PC firmware and driver and that kind of stuff, but before I did that, I just connected it onto the Xbox One and everything fired up fine. I was able to jump in game and drive. But right off the bat, I had to go and adjust the degrees of rotation because when I first jumped in, I think it was at like 1080 or something. It was, it was taking a big turn. So so I had to come in and actually go and adjust it. And let me adjust the, so I come right here and I actually adjust it down to this 40 setting. I kind of wish in the settings here they would say actually the degrees of rotation, because this is just, I believe this number goes to like 108, but I adjusted down to 40, and now when you back out, you can see that my hands are matching up. The on-screen hands are matching up with my hands. I think the 40 is about 540 degrees of rotation, if I had to guess. So that feels much better. But the other thing I noticed, which, let me get out of that view. The other thing I noticed was that the brake pedal, while the brakes were working, I was having a really hard time slowing down for corners. So what I ended up doing was going back, plugging in the wheelbase to the PC, and installing the firmware and drivers, which you should do anyway. That's just the best way to go about getting a new wheel. Plug it into the PC and make sure you have everything up to date on the software side. So I did that, and then I was able to go in there and I was able to adjust the min and max settings of the pedals. So for the brake pedal, I went and I didn't put it all the way at the top. I gave myself a good amount of dead zone actually. And then when I jump back in on the Xbox One, all those settings save, so now I don't have to go and press the brake pedal all the way for the, I guess the physical distance traveled to register 100% brake pressure in game. So that is a nice thing to keep in mind. Now, because of the issue with the bolt on the wheel here, I did go and I turned force feedback down. I have force feedback in game set to 40. That's kind of where I've been running it in general. But then I went here and I went back to the settings and force feedback, and actually it reset on me. I thought I was feeling a little strong. So I'm gonna send this down. Let's go to 50. Let's call that good. There we go. So that's not turning as hard now on the wheel. So let's talk about the wheel. Let's talk about the wheelbase first. And I have to say, it feels pretty good. Just first impression. The wheel mechanism itself is pretty smooth. I mean, it really, I have to say, it feels very, Big Brother-like the CSW, V2. It feels like it's going that direction as I unlock an achievement. But go off-roading here and get a little bit of the vibration going. Well, not off-roading there since they have to go and repave all these tracks now. But no, it's got the vibration going, and I think I have that still set at 100. But no, it feels pretty smooth, and it feels like there's a good amount of strength there. And that's even with me having some things turned down, because I don't want to have this wheel sliding around on me. But no, that I'm looking forward to somehow fixing my issue / mistake and really turning up the force feedback on this wheel and seeing how it performs. Because off the bat, it feels pretty good. So as we enter a braking zone, and as I'm driving really off the pace so I can just talk to you guys. I don't have all that, I need to work on my my Billy talking drives. Billy Strange has me beat right now by a lot. Able to commentate and do test drives. But anyway, let's talk about these pedals. Gas pedal, feels good. I mean, it's doing what I wanted to get out of a gas pedal. This low cell brake pedal. So I think I really like this pedal. It's a little softer than I care for it to be with the current rubber spacing, rubber grommets, rubber bits, whatever you want to call it, in there. I want it to be a little stiffer. But I will say I'm driving this without shoes right now, and I got the rubber pads on the pedal face. I wouldn't want it to be any stiffer without shoes and without this rubber face. Because right now I'm feeling my foot a little bit. So if you're gonna go and drive for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, you're gonna feel it. So that's yeah, rubber pads, good for now, good for this setting, but I think I'm gonna jump over to the shoes pretty soon. But anyway, this pedal, I like that it has nice feel, you know, and I like that it has good travel. That's one thing that, even though I really do like the CSP V3s, one thing that I wish I had more of was travel. It's very, I mean, I do run the pedal very stiff, so that's kind of knocked into my travel. But, you know, it doesn't, I probably only have like yay amount of travel. I don't have a lot of travel. Where this brake pedal, I mean, huge travel. And by huge, I mean huge comparatively to the CSP. I think it's probably right. And I did turn off ABS because I wanted to see what the threshold braking was like. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to going and testing out some of those stiffer inserts and really seeing what this pedal has to offer. But yeah, I mean, it's it feels good. I kind of think I almost kind of wonder if maybe these are too good. This could maybe be potentially better than the V3s. Because, I mean, the pedal feels great, and I feel like it's going to feel better once I go and stiffen it up a bit. And then, I have to say, I really like the idea that I can move these pedals around, and I really want to move this brake pedal more to the left here. Because right now, if you can see my legs, I do have my legs, you know, pretty tight together here because I'm bringing in my left leg. And I really want to try to get it over a little more to not necessarily where the clutch is, because now my leg is going off at this angle, but to kind of bring it in between there, maybe take out 1 or 2 of those 2-centimeter spacers. I think that could be really good. So yeah, I think we'll call that good for this first look, and I'm excited to drive this thing more. Like I feel like there's some good things happening here, and even to a degree where I kind of wonder, it's like, huh, is this too good? Is this too much of a threat to the higher end products from Fanatec? But I'll do more testing and we will find out. Okay, so that will do it for our first look at the Fanatec CSL Elite wheelbase and pedals. Again, this is a first look, so we didn't go too deep, only driving it on a set of course on Xbox One. When we do the review, of course, we'll drive it on the PC and play with more settings, and we'll look at the pedals more and probably adjust those pedals around. We'll also go and test out the clutch here, which will be the brake on just the standard pedal set that doesn't have the low cell, so maybe if you want to figure out what that option is, I mean, it comes in at $79.95 US, so that's really cheap, and you know, from what feeling it doesn't feel bad. So in the review, we'll test that out and get more final thoughts on this whole package going on here. Hopefully by then, I'll figure out a way how to fix my bolt issue. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Part of me is kind of like, I don't know if I should apologize, or I don't know if maybe Fanatec needs to reinforce that a little better, or maybe there's a little too much slop there in that female fitting that's in there. Or maybe it's a combination of all things. Maybe that plus idiot equals problems. But yeah, at least for now, something to probably keep in mind if you do pick this up. Be careful and make sure you don't cross threads. Crossing threads is bad. Bad things happen, and that's what we're seeing here. So hopefully get that fixed up for the review, and we'll be able to go and put it through all the proper paces. So, as always, if you enjoyed the video, please give a like. If you enjoyed it and you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel so you can check out the review and some of the other stuff we have going on here, including that Assetto Corsa review we did yesterday. Also, check out our website, isrtv.com, and the Amazon affiliate link in the description below. Click on the link, shop through Amazon, kicks a little back towards us, and helps us out. So, for John Sable, thanks for watching Inside Sim Racing. See you guys next time.